Hello, Tuesday evening. I've been reflecting today on one of the reasons why I started making videos 77, 78 days ago now. At the beginning of when we were going to be sort of what I assumed as locked in. It was less militaristic than that, but it felt at that moment that I was going to succumb to this anxiety level that I was at because of the unknown and because of the state that other countries had previously had in lockdown, in military background, support, in people being, not allowed to leave their houses, etc. So at that point in time, I was almost, overwhelmed and succumbing to this feeling of anxiety and trepidation in my body and the unknown factors and, what can I do? What will I do? And having always wanted to use my voice and a platform to speak to and for people that don't have their own voice, and, potentially use my insights as something that someone may gain from. And at the time, I was frightened. And when I go back to look at those videos, I can see how frightened I was. And what developed over the last 70 some odd days is a level of confidence that came from coming here and posting every day, being really dedicated to learning over the past 3 months, and putting myself in front of content that gets me to think and causes insights and causes that shift to happen. And today was one of those days where I sat in front of content again. I took a couple of days off last week. I went boating. I sort of, released the tension and the rigidity around have to get this done on a daily basis. Today was the 21st day of my third round of a 21-day abundance practice that I have been doing consecutively over the last 63 days. I had my coaching call today with my nutritional coach, and we're about midway through our 90-day session, maybe a third of the way through. And how it's amazing to me that just by setting an intention, having a weekly meeting with her, taking her weekly our sessions and creating a device from that, a system, a shift from that to help me on my intention of gaining my physical health, because I have neglected that. I have been abusive to myself in that realm. And, ultimately, even though I had lots of reasons why, lots of abuse, lots of self-deprivation, lots of not fitting in, not feeling a part of, ostracism, being told that I was too big, too much, that people couldn't handle me, the reasons why I've stopped myself from participating in the ways that I would like to, and ultimately the things that have stopped me from participating in even bolder and bigger and larger ways prior to now. And some of those things have been conditioned since childhood. And what I'm noticing is that I'm carrying that stuff along, that it's baggage, for lack of a better term. It's all packed with me, and I'm packing it along, and it's heavy, and I'm tired. And so I'm just starting to take a look at all of this stuff and starting to unpack it, give it the light of day, give it a moment to breathe, tuning in to the reason why the behaviors have gotten so out of whack and so disjointed and so self-deprivating. Self-abuse, literally, because I've always had the belief that, it would appear that I'm less than, that my life is not worth as much as everyone else's because I'm overweight, because I take up too much space, because I've offended someone, because I breathe too much air. And those have been my realities. And today I'm exploring the responsibility level in that. So even though I have self-righteous reasons to be angry and self-righteous reasons to feel hurt and victimized many, 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 many times in my life, and getting so busy taking care of everybody else, into and including my children, which I really felt I did, you know, they deservedly had all of me in those moments, because I was living in service to their abuse and trying to sort of pick up pieces along the way and put them back together, haphazardly sometimes, and completely devoted to parenting. But the problem is that I left myself off the list so often that I'm struggling now how to put myself in the forefront of that and make myself the most important thing to me. And not take my life for granted. And not take my health for granted. And knowing some of the things that I know today that I didn't maybe know 2, 3, 6, 8, 10 weeks ago, years ago, whatever, when I know better, there's a level of responsibility to doing better. And so over the past number of weeks, I've been improving my eating. I've been, stopping some old patterns, some old behaviors that were obviously detrimental to my health, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and really taking a look at where they came from, where they originated from, and how to dismantle some of the damage and dismantle some of the systems that got put in place in the infrastructure of believing that my worth was attached to my size. That I couldn't have a voice until I lost the weight, until I got to that place, until I had earned my right to take up space and take up less space, then somehow my worth was determined by outside sources. And so today I came to terms with the fact that I am here to learn about love, to teach about love, to feel love, and there's no mistake at this point in time that I need to take care of my physical health, because I need to be good to my heart, because I have a lot of things to do here yet, a lot of things to say, a lot of things to contribute, and a lot of people to potentially help, into and including myself. And ultimately, that idea of self-love comes from that place of understanding that I have worth just because I'm a human, that I deserve to take up space, and that my mental health is important. And I've often felt like less than because I'm sometimes not good at coping. My anxiety gets the best of me. I'm sometimes out of control around my feelings and being able to cope. I get to capacity really easily. And I'm learning mechanisms and tools to avoid outbursts. And they are certainly different than they were, in my 20s, when I didn't know how to harness any of that, and I didn't know how to empower myself to make a difference. I just went pew, 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 spinning off in all these different directions, hurting a lot of people in the wake of my behavior. And, coming to terms with the sadness and anger that I feel that I stayed in a job for over 10 years. To someone that looked me in the face and told me I would never be a leader because I'm fat. The owner of that company said those words to my face, and I still stayed and worked for her. I still stayed because I really liked the content, I liked the community. But unfortunately, it was taking something from me. Because all the time, I have this undercurrent of, I'm not deserving, I'm not worth having a rich, full experience of life. I'm not worth listening to. I'm not worth taking up space. I'm not worth being seen as a leader. And unfortunately, those kinds of things I still carry around with me, because honestly, I see other people just sort of, okay, here's the checklist. Here's what I do to do this thing. So I want to be a speaker. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Done. Let's go. Launched. And I'm experiencing this place of 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh God, I don't know if I can do anymore. Better turn around and walk away. Well, I still save face. Well, it's still not too scary, where I haven't failed yet. And there's a level of responsibility in that. for me. And being willing to learn. You know, I talked a couple of days ago about not understanding some things, and there's, you know, civil unrest going on right now, and it is not just in America. It is global. But here in Canada, it is alive and well, racism. And it's something that I fail to understand because I can't. But I want to. And I have a desire for change, and I have a desire for making a contribution, and all I can do now is say, I know that I cannot understand, but let me help you amplify your voice. And a few days ago, you know, I made some statements about, like, not understanding, because I'm a person of inclusion and I want to include everyone. That idea of all lives matter just made more sense to me until I got educated. And I understood how, in fact, that actually undermines what's going on right now. And so even though I did it imperfectly, and even though I showed up in that moment as exactly who I was with the knowledge that I had at that time, that I'm also someone that is doing my homework, and that I'm getting educated, and I'm listening. I'm listening. And from those listenings, I can create change. Because I'm willing to take steps in that direction and say, I don't know how to do this, and I certainly don't know how to do it perfectly or well yet, but I'm determined to create change. And whatever I can do with my voice, my life, my process, my insights, my power, whatever it is that I can do to support at this point in time is what I need to be asking myself, and be willing to write the letters and stand beside. And stop things when we see them happening, and say something, speak up, because it's time. It's overtime. It's overdue. And the things that we're seeing happening right now are happening for a reason. And I don't like that, but I also don't like how it's been. And so in the middle of all of this, it's going to get crunchy, and things are going to be strange and unusual and unknown. And there's going to be trepidation, and there's going to be resistance, and there's going to be misunderstanding. But my intention, I know, is clean and clear. My intention is to teach and amplify love. That's all I know. That love truly is the only thing that's real. And until we treat all human beings with dignity and pride that they deserve, that things will not change as long as we stand divided. And so today, I admittedly don't know everything, but I do know that love lives here in my heart. My intention is clean and clear. I do not know everything, and I will do this imperfectly, but I will continue to walk my path, speak my truth, and learn, so that I can continually test myself and continually ask myself, is this for the greater good of everyone? What can I do? What will I do? What can I do? What will I do? And understand that when I make mistakes, to apologize for them, and to say, I was uneducated, I did not know those things, but now I have a better understanding. And now that I have a better understanding, please don't shame me or ostracize me, but allow me to stand beside you and try again. My greatest hope is for peace. I don't know how to make that happen. All I can do is work on here, right here with me. It starts with me. It starts at home. Start having these conversations. They're important to have. Start listening with different ears. Instead of listening to respond, listen to hear. Listen to let the messages land. Feel the emotion of what's really going on. And I heard quite a few times today, be silent and listen. But in times when we see injustice happening, it is our job, it is our responsibility, it is our duty as human beings to say something. To say, no, that is not okay with me. It may not happen anymore. And if each of one of us does that as individuals to contribute to the bigger picture, then we create momentum towards change. I hope that you're kind to yourself and others today and every day. And I have so much tremendous love for each and every human on the earth. And I'm starting to see how letting myself into that category and allowing myself to feel my own love, to feel my own appreciation, to understand that I am worth it, that I am enough, that what I have to say matters, that what I have to think, feel matters, and hold space for others to do the same. So much love out there. See you tomorrow.